Get ready to quit the build. The QTB crew is rounding up all the gaming news and hot topics of the week with a little extra something. And here are your hosts, Bruno, Brad, and Nick.
What it do? You're listening to the QTB podcast. I'm your host, Bruno, and with me are the brothers McMuffins, the boys of QTB, our co-hosts, Nick and Brad.
Oh my gosh, here we are. It is episode 114. And I'll tell you, we have been having just a blast on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of new stuff we've been rolling out. And we didn't announce this. We kind of did a soft launch over the last week that I started kicking off our gaming live streams, both on YouTube and Twitch.
That's true.
I was just going crazy, going nuts. I did TMNT, Shredder's Revenge. We did a couple Kirby games, Poyo's All Around, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been having a lot of fun and just really expanding the QTB kind of metaverse, if you will, of all the things that we offer, both podcast content, yeah, exactly, and so much more. And you're going to be live streaming on there soon as well, Bruno, right?
I am. That's what I'm. That's why we're getting this set up right now. As you guys can see, we're trying to expand our live streaming to multiple platforms because that's the way everyone does it, and we want to just grow our community. And by the way, you guys have been awesome, really, in our community. We want to thank you for that. And we thank Mr. Grove Games for just being in the chat and being an awesome mod. And if you guys see somebody being negative or a comment that needs reported, go ahead and do that. We're trying to build a non-toxic environment here. So if you've got the toxicity that's not, channeled towards video game raging, then we don't want to hear it. Right?
Take it to Kotaku. Right, Brad?
The only toxic I want is Britney Spears toxic. Shout out, early 2000s? Hey.
Oh, well, she's been getting kind of funky on Instagram. I don't know if you why. I mean, they took the reins off of her and they were like, let her loose. She's like a wild stallion. She had her first cocktail in a bar the other day. Okay.
Whoa. Stop the madness.
I know, right?
No, but you're right.
Fancy.
You're right, Bruno. We want to keep it positive. We want all of our fans and our friends and our community to enjoy what we bring to the table, including our live streams and what's coming up. I know, Nick, you had a couple good ones this week, and we want to make sure that those chats stay positive and fun, just like the podcast. So
there you go. Yeah. Hey, and let's just jump right into it because we have got a lot of stuff to get to a little bit later. But as always, we've been kind of kicking things off with just a conversation. What have we been doing this week? What has been going on in the gaming world and beyond? And I'm excited because I have once again been kind of trying to tackle my backlog of games. I just reopened Yakuza Like a Dragon. It came on Game Pass, and I'll tell you,
I'm opened anything like a dragon.
No,
that's what. Wait, is
like
the game
boss.
called Like a Dragon?
It's called Like a Dragon.
Oh,
That's the actual
I thought you
name of the
said
game.
you opened it like a dragon, and I was like, I've never opened a game like a dragon before, but I'm all over that. Like, I don't even have a dragon sound effect, Nick. Okay.
How would you even open something like a dragon with
I don't
fire?
know. You said I opened Yakuza like a dragon.
Like a dragon.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm down.
No,
for that,
it was
though.
not. It was not done in dragon form at all. I downloaded and played it. Great. I mean, it's a great RPG from Sega and a long-standing series. And I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it still has some really, really interesting storylines. George Takei voices the villain in the game. So if you want some George in your life,
what?
My,
He's the villain?
Yeah, he's the villain. Can you believe that?
Wow. Oh,
yeah,
that's not. I mean, he's not a very villainous type of guy, but I guess under the right circumstances, if you're only listening to his voice, then maybe.
There you go. Maybe. But I mean, aside from that, I've been putting out those shorts. We just put the next installment in the Kirby Balls series. People have been asking me for that. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to spoil it. You're going to want to get on those YouTube shorts on TikTok and check it out and see what's going on, because all is getting pretty chaotic in the world of Kirby Ball Z, as we now call it. Find out what happens next time on Kirby Ball Z.
Here you go. I don't think I have one for Kirby Ball Z.
He's looking it up right now.
Wait a minute. Here we go. This is pretty.
Real-time soundboard.
I don't know.
You go.
That's just jamming like it's like it.
Oh yeah. They would roll this at the end credits of Kirby Ball Z.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a Virtual Fighter song, so why not, right? Like
Exactly.
Virtual Fighter.
That's Sega. Yeah, not bad.
Exactly.
Okay. We were just talking Sega. Okay. And that's about all I got, Brad. What do you got going on, man?
As I said earlier, definitely been playing some Fortnite. Pulled me back in. John Cena showed up in the shop. You can't see him, so I had to. You can ask Bruno. I had to pick him up, and we've had some pretty crazy wins this week. Bruno, fill him in. Tell him about the 2 crazy wins that we picked up.
Well, first of all, when you start playing Guile's theme, I start to go crazy. Okay, even if it's just the faint glimmer of a Guile's theme going on. I was like, I'm gonna get rid of all my stuff, Brad, because I can't win this. And he's like, no, use the lightsaber, Bruno. And I did.
Yeah.
I went ham, and guess what? We brought home the win. Victory Royale, baby. Let's go. Woo! All day.
Oh, you love it. Man. Wow. I mean, I'm hyped. Just man, you timed that out. That was great. Just musical storytelling.
This is what you get when you come to the QTB podcast. We are not only that, we got props. They're over there, but I haven't broken them out yet. But we got name another podcast that has props. You can't.
It can't be done.
Exactly.
Nope.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
We're breaking down walls.
We're breaking down walls, barriers, everything. No, seriously, we've been playing Fall Guys. We've been playing Fortnite. We've jumped over to and fro from game to game, just grabbing victories and crowns whenever we can. And I'm excited because there's always something new. I feel like if you're a Fall Guys fan or a Fortnite fan, there's always something new, at least in the shop every day. They got a nice shop going on, and I saw Fatal Fury. There's a Fatal Fury crossover coming up. Heck yeah.
There you go.
Terry's going to be in there. What it do?
You know we love Terry. We got our resident Discord Lord, Terry. That's the only Terry I know of.
That's right. Yeah, everybody loves Terry.
Get that guy a skin ASAP. Absolutely. You love to see those crossovers, and just a lot of great stuff happening with just crossovers and kind of the free-to-play models that I think what Fall Guys is doing. Fall Guys is going to be bringing back the Sonic skins and I did a TikTok on this recently, a YouTube short about how we now know
it's almost breaking 1 million.
Yeah, that's a big one because people are going crazy for it because we got confirmation that this new map is going to be in Fall Guys called Bean Hill. Amazing
Heck
name.
Yeah.
Bean Hill is you can't be mad at that. And people knew because during the show selector, like when it's picking the next level, that level will cycle in even though it hasn't shown up in the game yet. Exactly. I was like, wait a second, I saw a spring. I saw.
Wait a minute.
Hang on. So they're going to be bringing back the Sonic, the Knuckles skin, Super Derpy. I hear they're going to bring in a Tails and even a Dr. Eggman skin. Can you imagine Dr. Eggman?
If they don't have a Tails, Nick, what the heck are they? There's a whole game centered around grabbing Tails. So if they don't add in like 2 Tails where you can grab 2 Tails, I don't know what they're doing over there, but it's a huge missed opportunity. And we can't have that, okay?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. But yeah, a lot of great stuff happening this week, and I guess we'll just kind of jump into things here, Bruno. But of course, and Brad, before we get into it, we got to give a shout out to the official sponsor of the QTB Network. You know what it is? It's our friends at Winner Winner Live Arcade, and I got to tell you, we're big fans of all things Mario Brothers, right? I mean, that's a classic IP. You can't go wrong. It's a Chris Pratt, I guess, because what do you get? Chris Pratt playing playing Mario. Hopefully Johnny Legs playing Luigi, but that's a whole different conversation. But regardless, it is Super Mario Mayhem at Winner Winner because the Super Mario Plush Collection Challenge is now available. All you have to do is catch all 8 of the Mario-themed plushies on the list, and you will score 7,000 bonus tokens. Just tap the star in the corner and go to Collections to start checking off those wins. And on Winner Winner, you make any purchase and shipping is free for life. Token packages are as low as $3.99. You can download the app, hit play for free, no registration needed, and you play for free until you win your first prize. That first win is always on the house. Here comes Token. Bruno's got him. Oh, yes. That iconic chicken. He's having a great time, and you will too because the link to download the app is in the show notes and in the live chat right now. And if you visit pay.app.winnerwinner.com and use promo code Dale to top off your tokens, he's going to give you a sweet deal with an extra 30% bonus tokens on your next purchase. Thanks as always, to our friends over at Winner Winner. Right, Token? Woo! You know, he's the happiest chicken alive, man. I wish I could be half as happy as that.
Dapper is all get out too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I'll tell you what's looking extra dapper, boys, and that is our big story here from IGN talking about the next installment of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yes, hit that stinger. Because we got Wave 2 announced. And this is great timing because, and we'll get into our Patreon plug here in a little bit, but our most recent Patreon episode was about Mario Kart and our favorite Mario Kart games and tracks over the years. And this comes right on the heels of that episode dropping because they're talking about Wave 2, of course, of the multi-wave booster course pass that is coming from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So this story, what we're finding out is, and we'll just kind of go down the list of all the different tracks that we're finding that we have access to here, and it is quite a doozy because
get him with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, with no further ado. First of all, we're going to get Sky High Sunday, which is the first brand new course. It's not a remake of any existing course that we've had in Mario Kart. We're also looking at Calamari Desert, guys, from Mario Kart 64. Because that train, that will end friendships, If you get past the train and I don't, and I got to sit there for a solid 5 seconds, it's GG, right, Brad? It's all over.
You're right, Nick. I don't have much to say about that.
Maybe?
You're right. I got nothing else to say.
That's exactly how Calamari goes.
Well, I think for us, obviously, the big sell is always going to be the 64 courses.
Yes.
The getting them back in the mix. My wife and I were playing Mario Kart last night, and we played on the Yoshi course. Right, where the egg is moving right across the screen, and I never really had a problem with that. I think it was just like something to distract you. But there were some times where it get pretty close in there, pretty hairy. But I think that's one of the things that I really love about the old school games like that, especially like that Yoshi course, for example. Yeah. If you can, cast your mind back, right, to yesteryear as we go back, right. Here we go. There were so many different routes you could take in that Yoshi course. It was impossible to know back then, like, which route is the fastest. Yeah. Thank God for all the YouTube videos that we have nowadays that can show us, like, just hug the left, right. And then go right, there you go. Yeah. So that's my strategy for the Yoshi map. But I always like those things. What other maps are coming that are on there? We got the train one.
Yeah, so Calamari Desert's in there. And like I had said before, Sky High Sunday, I do want to point out that I think I mentioned that before. This is the first ever 100% original track that's actually going to be coming because even in the first installment of the Booster Pass, everything that you saw came from some other Mario Kart game. With a large number of them actually coming from Mario Kart Tour, the mobile game, which has been doing very well, and they've been putting out a lot of really fun courses on there, so it's great that some of the highlights are making it in. And in this installment, 2 of those are going to make it, Sydney Sprint and New York Minute. I have played both of those, and I love New York Minute. What I love about Tour is that a lot of the locations are based on real areas, real cities, and real countries, rather than just fictional things, and it's cool to have that mixed in. Because in the first rounds of releases, there was the Tokyo Blur, that takes place in Japan, and also what was the other one? It was Paris Promenade. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And
I like that.
it's a beautiful track. I love the music. There have been some complaints that the Mario Kart Tour style, like I think they're just importing the tracks directly from the game. They don't quite look as crisp as the other tracks, but honestly, when the action is unfolding, it's not something I can really say is an issue. We're also getting a new version of Mario Circuit from the original Mario Kart, Mario Circuit 3, one of the harder tracks. Mushroom Gorge from Wii. I've heard a lot of people getting excited about that one because, I mean, and everybody has like their favorite ones. Bruh in the chat is saying, I'll be honest, I really only care about Mushroom Gorge. There you go. That's the track for you, my friend. Yeah.
There you go.
And I said Sydney Sprint, New York Minute. Also, guys, hello. Waluigi Pinball is in the next Mario Kart Booster Pass. Yo. Dude, people love Waluigi Pinball. I mean, come on, Brad. Like, you can't. You get all the craziness of bumpers and all the crazy lights and effects of a pinball machine. You can't go wrong.
Oh, I mean, there's so much. This we were talking pre-show, or maybe it was a post-show last week or something like that, about how this game continues to deliver, or maybe it was the Nostalgia Vault. I forget. I don't know. But we were talking about how these downloads, these DLC packs, are just extending. Like, this is the ultimate Mario Kart game, and you're just getting track after track after track that is so fun for such a wide audience, that there's so many fun things that this offers everyone. And you're right. While I can't speak tonight, Waluigi's Pinball, rewind that back. Waluigi's Pinball is another one of those that is going to just be such a fun play.
Oh man,
And I'm off. I'm good.
Look, Waluigi. It's a hard word to say, Brad. It's a hard word to say. I'm not mad. I can't tell you how many times,
I'm good.
how many takes it took me to do the Waluigi Pinball jingle on the shorts.
So here's a bit of trivia for everyone. Fun fact that the upside down M on Warrior is not a W. It's an upside down M. The tell for that is the upside down L on Waluigi, being the antithesis of Luigi. So most people think, obviously, because it's flipped around, that the W stands for Wario, but it's in fact an upside down M. So I mean, there's pretty much nothing left to say there, except
I knew he was gonna play it. I knew he had the rainbow button on his on your Stream Deck. Yeah,
it doesn't jiggle at full.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's what you're saying.
Listen, you gotta stop playing with me, because we got that too. Okay.
I have rapped in a program I did, a Weird Weekends episode about rap.
It's real rap.
Remember any of the rap?
It just,
You can't tell me this isn't real rap.
It folds. I like to see you
The vibes of this track.
make me wanna dribble. You know,
Oh, you really got to see it. Yeah.
you know what Fiat stands for?
What is it? Well, I don't know. What does it stand for?
Fix it again, Tony.
You're gonna diss in on Fiat. Okay. Fix it again, Tony. We got car jokes. Okay. I mean, that's appropriate.
As he sips his Arnie Palmy, over there laughing. Yep.
There you go. Well, speaking of going fast, also we've got Snowland from one of the GBA games there, Mario Kart Advance, and like I said, New York Minute from Tour. And I mean, look, there's so much to get excited about with this booster pass, because look, this is coming on August 4th, so depending on when you're watching or listening to this, it may be out already, not as of right now, but very soon. And I mean, this is huge. We've been talking a lot about the value propositions for Nintendo, and how their whole expansion pack thing has really struggled to present any kind of real value, despite having nostalgia on its side with the N64 offerings, like with the expansion pack. But over time, while the initial offerings of software was a little lackluster, saying, oh, well, you can get an add-on for Animal Crossing, right? You still have to own Animal Crossing, but you can get the add-on. they have been going back and saying, well, we're going to go to different games and give you these extra DLC things as they come out as a part of this package. So while it may have been a very underwhelming offering at the start, more games are coming out. We're getting more into N64 games. I think Pokemon Puzzle League just came out, the original Pokemon Snap. So the Pokemon back library of N64 games is starting to build out there. With this, especially with so many courses that are available to you that you're just automatically getting if you have that expansion pack, I think we're actually starting to see maybe a tipping point where more and more people are looking at the price and saying, you know what, maybe I will get that annual subscription. What do you think, Brad?
I agree. I'm with you there, Nick. I still don't own a Switch, but I can see the attractiveness of wanting to get that, right? So I mean, where are you at, Nick? Are you on board? Are you're a Switch owner? Where are you at on this?
My thing is, and a lot of people know this about the expansion pack or just that whole subscription thing in general. The family plan is built in, so that you can say, okay, well, for $40 a year you get everything, but like for $60 a year you can add on more people. I think it's $80 per year for the expansion pack for up to 8 people. So you can just go ahead and just pull it in with a bunch of people that are 100% family in spirit, and just split it 8 ways for $10. That's the money. Nintendo, you didn't hear that, and I'll never tell you my account. Yep. But no, even if I paid full price at this point, I still think I would do it. I'm seeing enough offerings on the Genesis and on the N64 side that even without the extra add-ons that we're getting, like with Mario Kart, I still feel like I'm getting my money's worth. Overall, I'm pretty happy with where we're at on it. What do you think, Bruno?
Considering I'm part of the family,
right.
I love it. Like, I love the booster pass. And you're right. I think that they've proven that Mario Kart is their number one seller, right? Like that's bringing home the bacon for them. There's still people that, if Brad, like when Brad goes out and gets a Switch, it's inevitable to happen. The one game that he's 100% sure to get is Mario Kart. I think that it's one of those games that it's kind of like the Wii Sports of the console. A lot of people might like a certain type of Mario. Mario Odyssey is a little different than Super Mario Land 3D, right? But Mario Kart has cemented itself in racers and playing with friends. I think when most people think of Nintendo, Mario Kart's one of the first games that comes to mind. So there's what's left to do, really. You know what I mean? That's the question. Like, at what point do you need to say, okay, well, we need a sequel here? Because that's adding different content, not just new maps, but different, ways to play the game. And at this point, I think they've got such a huge roster of characters and now levels and circuits to race around that there's no need to come out with a Mario Kart 9 or something, or Mario Kart 10, if you really want to call it that. I think that they can get away with just updating this game and adding on DLC to it later on with more, more characters that they pull around. I would like Mario Kart to kind of dip into some of the characters that we have on Smash, and some of the characters that maybe are floating around, that sphere, right? Like, it would be cool to kind of have a Street Fighter, character in there, something like that. Like, that would be pretty neat. I doubt it will happen because it seems like it's very Nintendo focused, but what are your thoughts, Brad?
Well, then why wouldn't you go like Link or Star Fox or go like OG
Link's
characters,
in there,
right?
Yeah.
Oh well.
We do have Link. Yeah.
So no, it's okay. Link was in the first. He was in the first DLC pack. So the first DLC pack for Mario Kart 8.
I must have missed
he was
that.
in there, along with like Tanuki Mario, Tanuki Peach, and somebody else. Oh, I think it was like a
Isabelle
Shy
from
Guy
Animal
or
Crossing,
something like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Okay, yeah. So there were a couple other characters, but you're right. Star Fox is yet to make an appearance. Neither has Samus. I think that there's room for more characters and stuff like that within the game. But
we should get a poll. We should get a poll going with the
what
chat.
our community has to say.
Yeah,
exactly. What is the chat thing? Is there something that's not in the game, like mechanics wise or character wise, that you want to see? Let us know in the chat section. We'd love to hear it. I mean, obviously a Mega Man one, Nick, and that's got to be one that
so
ranks high
one
with
thing
you,
that they
right?
did, and it's kind of a hidden away feature, so I know why a lot of people don't realize it's there, is they added in the Amiibo costumes. That was one of the ways they integrated Amiibo technology, is that there are a large number of Mii Racer costumes that are locked behind Amiibo. And the Mega Man one, I mean, a lot of them, like, you're not playing as that character. I think Fox is in there.
One.
There is a Kirby one where you get like a Kirby hat. But the Mega Man one, it's like a full suit of Mega Man armor. So as far as I'm concerned, you're racing as Mega Man. So there you go. He's actually technically in the game, I guess, from that perspective. But I think the crossovers do need to continue. I would love to see Sega just acknowledge once and for all that they can't compete with Nintendo in the racing space. I know they've been trying to do the Sega All-Stars, like team racing and all that, but yeah.
I think everyone has, though, right? Like, you've got the Nick All-Stars. You could even say Diddy Kong Racing tried to compete with Mario Kart. They tried to compete against themselves with another racer. And I'm not knocking on Diddy Kong Racing. Like, a lot of people still love that game. And I think that there is room for some type of crossover there, or some type of Diddy Kong Racing DLC pack might be interesting in the future, with the entire flying levels. That was something you didn't really get in Mario Kart. But you're right, like there have been tons of games that have tried to go down this racing path of Sonic All-Stars and Nickelodeon All-Star Racing, even Crash Bandicoot Racing, Team Racing, right? Like, that's a pull at trying to cash in on the Mario Kart craze. And as much as I love racing games, it's hard to pick up something else other than Mario Kart and not see the influence that it's had on that game, right? It just kind of feels like a ripoff at some point.
I mean, you can only, especially when you see the same types of power-ups and the same types of abilities, that just be like, okay, so many of these racers have the whole drifting mechanic of, the longer you hold a drift, the bigger your boost is at the end. Like, the parallels are too big to ignore. But at the end of the day, Mario Kart definitely.
Hey, can we go back and acknowledge what Diddy Kong Racing just want to toss out? Banjo-Kazooie was a character on that game. Like, can we just talk about that? There was like, and then you can unlock like TT, like, that game had its own little, it was short, but like I was a fan. Like, if we could find a way to, bring a few more crossovers into the game.
If they did like a whole Diddy Kong Racing expansion, like, people would flip out. That game does not get enough love. I mean, and Bruno, you were talking about the flying levels. You even had like the water levels, right? And on some tracks, like, you could pick like different vehicles. Like, one person could be on a car and one person could be in a plane, and there were different paths you could take depending on which route you took or which vehicle you took. But more importantly, you're right, Brad, is that Diddy Kong Racing, a lot of the characters that were in that had already been established through other IPs. I think Banjo hadn't had his own game. It wasn't the Kazooie wasn't there, obviously, but Banjo, the character, was. But there was also Conker, right, who went on to star in Conker's Bad Fur Day. Of course, Diddy Kong already was well known at that point. So, they did try and kind of create this.
And Crunch, man, can't forget Crunch.
Oh man, yeah, there was a lot of great racers in there. I liked,
So was that all rare then? Was that like
they were rare
like
IPs.
Rare stuff?
You want to put James Bond in there? I would race through the facility. You kidding me? It'd be a little weird, but we'd do it.
Can I get odd job? Can I get an odd job? Odd job on the course? Baron Samedi.
Surely they've done a GoldenEye. They've done GoldenEye like car style game. I don't think they've done like a racing game. I say that. Someone's gonna Google it.
No. That would someone's gonna Google it. 007
might be
racing.
A thing. I feel like off the top of my head it might be a thing.
I don't know. It might be, you're right.
You pull out a rocket launcher.
Everyone had like Yeah, everyone had like a racing level. There was always a racing level or something like that, or the tank level in Nintendo 64. But you're right. I think that to me is probably the one area of like, if you could add a mechanic to the game that might be interesting or shake it up a little bit. I think some flying specific levels or water specific levels in that case, where you absolutely change the mechanics of what people are doing, how they're flying, racing, whatever it may be, would be really interesting to see. And it would be great to kind of pull in those characters as well. Maybe that's what they have planned for down the road, but there's still tons to be released with this booster pack. So that's the thing. Like, if you're not in it now, like, it's only going to become more valuable down the road, so at every step along the way, it's increasing that the shelf life of it. The price tag becomes more worth it at that point, and it becomes harder to stay away. I remember us talking about this when it first came out. Who is this for, right? We were asking that question, and aside from like the family plan and all that, I would say that people who are into the game and constantly want something to come back to and have that update, this is where it's at. Like, we gotta at least thank Nintendo in that respect for giving us something that's more than a roster update, right? Because it's hard to look at Madden year in and year out and say, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
We're gonna get into it, Bruno, for sure. Oh, by the way, 007 Racing is a 2000 racing game based on the James Bond license. Yeah, it was published by EA.
No, it was going to be 007 Racing.
Easy cash in.
Shot in the dark. Yeah. Let's just throw a dart.
Give him the Aston Martin and just send him on his way. We'll work out the rest in post.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you one thing that we have already worked out in post, and that is our amazing Patreon page. Thank you, as always, to our Patreon QTB and Fuego supporters. I'm talking about Epic Capture Productions, Matt.Bat, and Alexa, and also our QTB Plus supporters, Nick, the Dudist Monk, Indie Gamiacs, Alan Abadessa, Mr. Grove Games, the Intergalactic Pinecone, Fluffy Bunny, and our newest QTB Plus supporter, that is Kawaii Potato. Thank you so much for your support. And don't forget that for as little as $2 per month, you can get access to early access to our pre- and post-show extended editions of this podcast before they go live on Thursdays. And you also get access to the QTB Nostalgia Vault bonus podcast, where we talk about all sorts of stuff. Just had the Mario Kart episode, McDonald's, Burger King, any kind of nostalgic goodness you can think of. We've talked about so much, and you get to decide the topic as well. So again, head on over to patreon.com/quitthebuild. Link is in chat and in the show notes. And, you can get a shout out. Get some merch. You were throwing up you had a throw pillow up there. That's on our merch page. Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Hey! That's right. It's backwards because I haven't flipped my camera.
Yeah.
But it says quit the build. And there are other ones that say quit the build. So yes, you can go there, check it out. Thanks so much, obviously, to all of our Patreon supporters for helping us keep the lights on, keeping things going, and helping us do new things like expand our reach in the community with more streams towards YouTube and Twitch. It's because of you guys that we can provide this awesome stuff. Nick!
What do you got?
I got something for you.
The generic sports sound.
It's time! This is the Madden 97 theme song, if you weren't aware, Nick. Obviously. Who doesn't remember this banger? Everyone's
Was that the one where they had like John Madden's like digitized voice? Probably. Yeah.
It might have been like it might have been. Maybe. That'd have been good. He might still been on the
They're putting him on the cover for the new one. It's all coming full circle.
Ah, man. God bless him. I hope he put on a tie for that, because when he used to do the radio every morning in the Bay Area, they would like call him while he was drinking coffee, and they'd be like, "John, are you there?" "Yeah, I'm here."
That was a good impression.
He was like they woke him up, and he was just trying to go about his
You
day,
know,
and they're
in the John
asking him
Madden
about
voice.
stuff, and he's just
Right.
giving,
You know?
generic sports stuff, So this is going to be Brad's big moment.
Yes.
We're here for it because I mean,
Well, let me break down the article
Sports
for you.
here.
This one again coming from IGN.com, and this is talking about the upcoming Madden 23, saying that the developers are promising, quote, the most polished version in a long time, unquote, after years of buggy releases. And I mean, pretty much that article is exactly what you're talking about. And what they kind of get into it is that they've been saying that, especially in the newer Madden games, that even when the game runs correctly, they're saying that it's been a little bit too much animation based, meaning that once you start a certain input, or you choose to juke with the ball or pass the ball or whatever, that oftentimes some kind of really sophisticated animation kicks in, and it feels like it was almost like a quick time event, where you pushed a button rather than like real football happening in a way that feels like you're in control of the game. But I feel like this is that part of it is kind of a fluff piece, Brad, because I mean, I think the big problem here is, do we really buy that we're going to get a polished game release after, especially in this AAA annual cycle of just garbage when you have less than like 5 years to make a game? I mean, what do you think? Do you think this is just talking points, or do you think they've really learned from their mistakes?
I want to be wait and be proven right. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. There's so many times that there's this particular year of a game like this, a sports game that comes out that, like, for me, it's like that's the perfect balance of controls and gameplay. And then every year, to keep it fresh, they kind of tweak the controls to say, well, we've improved the passer experience, or we've improved the receiver catching experience, or the handoff experience, right? Like, but really, it's just a way to, if you were put out the same game with the same controls every time, then it doesn't feel new. I feel like sometimes new controls are a bit gimmicky. So I think they're saying, hey, maybe we've done that too much in the past. We've listened to our gamers, we listened to our followers and said, let's get back to the right blend of control-based play and it actually feeling like you're playing football. Because it goes back to the old days of like NFL Blitz and all these games that was much simpler. You just highlighted a receiver and you hit A and you threw the ball and it felt like you were playing the game, but it wasn't as complicated to like have perfect spiral passing, or like a juke and then you have to press Y to catch the ball. Like, there's so much now that's built into the customization of the controls that makes you feel like you're doing something special, but for most casual gamers makes the gaming experience poor. And I think if they can dial that back a bit and get back into this groove of a balance of streamlined controls with smooth gameplay, like it feels like, because the pace of the game also goes down. Like playing a football game on Madden is much slower than what you see on TV, right? Because you're calling the plays, you're pressing the button. Like, it takes 5 minutes to run one down, right? So like a drive may be 8 minutes on the game, but you've been playing that drive for 30 minutes, right? So finding a way to maybe let the controls streamline the controls to increase the gameplay rhythm, right? And I think that's what they're looking for, and that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not optimistic, but I'm trying to put glass half full mindset on here when
Are we
going
gonna switch roles here? Usually Bruno and I are the optimists and Brad has to deliver the the gut punch, but I guess we're gonna play devil's advocate here, Bruno.
Well, so here's my, to get back to what Nick said, what does that mean, right? Like, that's the thing that gets me. A lot of times they come out with this marketing jargon that is very basic, like, a whole new experience, reworked from the ground up and a more hands-on, what does all that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Are the animations going to be quicker, right? Like, are they reducing latency for animations to kick in, or whatever it may be? Like, that, like you said, Brad, like the average person who's just going to jump into the game, like myself, like Fluffy Bunny, who said in the chat the last football game that he bought was NFL Blitz. Like, I mean, I think the last NFL Madden game that I bought was NFL Madden 05. So it's almost been 20 years since I've bought a Madden game.
Right.
And when I tried to play the stuff that came on Game Pass with Brad, I felt completely out of the loop. Like I didn't know, because I'm a casual football watcher. If it's on and I've got the time, I'm down to watch it. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting there looking at playbooks, looking at the best way to get down the field in the quickest way possible. Like, I'm not fighting for those inches. I want to go on and play an arcade experience, kind of like NFL Blitz. And to have the only option really be something like Madden, where there's a steep learning curve now, video games need to be more accessible at the end of the day. And it's not just about those hardcore gamers that it's like, we've improved this field that only 10% of you will care about, whereas the 90% of the player base is just like, fix this issue, fix that issue, whatever it may be. So, and that's a very EA thing to do. That's a very EA thing to do, to come out with this generic statement of something and say, it's gonna feel different, and I want to know how.
I don't want to jump in here, Nick, and I don't want to cut you off before you get to say, but I remember this being on a particular game. Now can't remember what it was, but maybe this is a proposal for Madden here, is take a page out of kind of Fortnite's book, right? There was a big hoopla over building and how much building dictates the way the game's played and really alienates part of your gamer base. Okay, Bruno's point's very valid. For a good portion of these Madden games are not being developed for the casual gamer. They're being developed for the hardcore football fanatic who understands playbooks, who's going to run audibles, who's going to shift their defense or their offensive play based off of how the other person's playing. Like it's another stratosphere of gaming, right? They should just put a mode in there that's just called simple play, and you press the button and it dumbs down the playbooks and it dumbs down the button controls to create a like NFL Blitz player experience, so the casual gamer can step in, pick their favorite team, sling it like Aaron Rodgers, sling it like Tom Brady, whatever team you love, and then you get into a 52-48 game, right? You get into this fun, like dynamic arcade style game, and you don't have to worry about playing the finesse game or the strategy game that the high level Madden competitive players do, right? And so you've created a separate mode that I think now welcomes back in a huge part of the demographic that are casual football fans that just want to feel like they're attempting to play the game.
And interestingly enough, Brad, more games have been doing that lately. One of the biggest gripes with the F1 games is that the learning curve was so fast and steep that normal players who knew how to play a racing game couldn't jump in and just go to town. And they released like basically arcade style controls that give you a braking assist, steering assist. I mean, it's nearly impossible for you to run off a track. I mean, even in Forza Horizon 5, there's a mode where it will drive for you. Literally drive for you. You don't have to do anything. You just set the thing and it'll drive for you.
Enjoy the view.
Now, I'm not saying everyone needs that, obviously, but with the recent surge of F1 and watchability through things like Netflix Drive to Survive, more players are jumping onto the game, and nothing's more frustrating than getting into the game and not knowing how to play, or going online and having a bad time, right? And you're right. There are ways that you can go on and play Formula One online where everyone ghosts. You don't crash into anybody. You get put into, lobbies with actual beginners so that you can work your way up and learn the game as a normal player instead of somebody who's entrenched in the game for years, because that's what a lot of these sports games are. You get the same feeling in FIFA. Jump in FIFA and feel how inept you are at video games, right?
Yeah.
And MLB The Show or NBA 2K are starting to go down that path where it's like, more intense of a simulation and less of the video game arcade experience we've come to know and love.
You know why? You know why? Who they're trying to please now? They're trying to please the athletes. Athletes get so caught up in their ratings now and how they perform on the game that your stakeholder base has now shifted. It's not just about your demographic gamers. It's about, well, man, like every time, every year, like ESPN makes a big deal about who gets a 99
Yeah.
rating on Madden, and they go give these players like these like 99. These Madden makes these exclusive boxes and necklaces and all this swag that's like, I was a 99 on Madden. It's like, okay, now all of a sudden their marketing and their reasoning for making these games and creating this talent gap is to please these athletes who need to feel they even need more self-praise.
And that crossover is actually really interesting. There was a recent Twitter post where some guy had basically looked at a player on a football, I believe it was a football team, and correlated that every time there was a Call of Duty release, his performance dropped. So don't grab him
went down
on your fantasy.
Yeah. Kyler Murray, the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, they've shown statistically over his first couple of seasons of the league, every time a Call of Duty game dropped, they saw his performance on the field, like yards, completion percentage go down.
He's a classic COD bro. Like,
Look
that's just what he's doing.
There was
hilarious.
Yeah, there's data, there's Excel files, there's charts. I mean, this article really put the correlations together. So, but it's not even that. They're caught up in their own Madden game. Like, they want to go on, like, you know, I think I'm a top 5 quarterback. I should be rated a 96, right? Like, and there's a lot of investment now in the game to make sure that they get the player analytics correct. And I think all of that focus on those types of things devalues and demeans and can lessen the gaming experience, because now all of a sudden it's that much more complex compared to like the basics of older football
I want to
games.
kick it over to one of our comments from Epic Capture Productions, because he had a great one. First of all, Mr. Grove Games saying life needs a simple play button. Hard agree there, sir. But Epic Capture Productions say, it's saying it's definitely for hardcore dedicated Madden fans because they can't be dedicated to new gamers, and they're focused on current Madden players. And that's an important point, because not only is it an issue with the athletes themselves, like Brad pointed out, but I think it's also an issue that EA is notorious for over monetizing these franchise sports games. You think about NBA and NFL, where you have these extra, loot boxes. You know, they're still there. If you talk about loot boxes are on the way out, EA, would like to know your location. Memo. Yeah, because they are very much willing to sell you whatever you will buy. And the loot boxes have been more predatory than ever, especially when you get into the fantasy modes that let you collect those players. So what is happening is, they're catering towards them, and that type of player likes the complicated things. They like the integrated systems and the million different ways to run one play. But, it definitely leaves the casual gamer in the dust, because, and we got Fluffy Bunny in the chat saying, I don't have time for a steep learning curve. I spend more time listening to you guys talk about video games than actually playing them. You and us both, brother.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, as full-time dad. Yeah.
But doesn't that automatically eliminates most of us, like all of us talking right now, because like you said, Nick, you budget your backlog, right? And if Madden's on your backlog and you pick that up, and the moment you step into it, it's a maze of controls. And even getting into the game, Bruno, if you remember when we played it, it's like 8 million screens and like hoops to get through to playing an exhibition. I just want to play a single match. Like, I don't need to play story mode. I just want to get in and play a match and get my feelers down for the game. And it took us 20 minutes to get into a game to start, right? And it's like, it just felt so disjointed, and like I could see for the avid, passionate fan, as Epic Capture said, this is who that's for. But maybe what we're yearning for then, developers, is we want a simple arcade football game. Give me NFL Blitz remastered. Like, give me something I can get out there and just sling it. Like, give me some cheat codes. I want skull heads. I want big bodies. I want the clown. I want the clown celebration. Like, give me all the fun stuff.
Two things. First of all, there's a reason we don't have that. And Epic Capture Productions hit the nail on the head. He said, once major sports leagues figured out that they could make money rather than just let some dude make them in a video game, it was a subtle yet big shift. And I think that's part of the reason why we don't have some of the the silliness that goes
Right.
around these things. It comes down to licensing. And they don't want their license. They don't want their license to be used in a way that's not in a way that they intended it. You see that with the F1 games too. There's a limit on how much damage the cars can take because they don't want it to interfere with the logos, the branding of the car. They don't want those pictures to get out on the internet of a messed up Formula One car, so players dressed as a clown or anything like that are going to be an absolute no-go in something like this, because the licenses that they carry are too coveted, and at any one point they could say, what, that I don't like what you're doing with the game, let's get it out of there. But to your point, Brad, you're right. As I was sitting there the other day scrolling through tons of little games on my Miu Mini V2 here, I love the fact that all these classic games, there's like two modes, normal and hard. And it's like, start the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Start. Here you go. And a lot of times as I'm looking back, I'm like, man, I really miss the manual that came with it, because a lot of these games I have no clue how to play. I have to look it up and figure out, like, okay, what am I doing here? And that's the way it was back in the day. You didn't have these tutorial screens that would come up and say, hey, this is how you pass the ball. It was just like, figure it out, or read the guide that came with it. But if you rented the game, you didn't get the guide. No. So you just had to know what was up, or you were completely lost. So, we have moved away from this jump in a game and play really quickly, to things like, you've got to finish this tutorial section that's an hour long before you can join up and play with other players. And yes, there are times when I think that is a much needed thing for new games and new IPs that have new ways of doing things, like Fortnite. Nobody's built in a game before. We needed to know how to do that, but when it comes to playing football, we all know pass, catch, just let me pass the ball. One button, shouldn't be any more. Hit A.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. I think it was Google Stadia did a free weekend for Madden 21 or 22. I forget which one it was. But regardless, I was like, oh, cool. I haven't played a Madden game in for so long that why not go ahead and just to hop in there and see what it was like. And, I go in, there's, the opening tutorial game, and, it seemed like they were trying to dumb it down for me, but there were just so many things on the screen. It was like a sensory overload thing for me. I didn't care. Like, I have a passing interest in football at best, so I know I'm not their target audience, but I was like, honestly, if I can just hop in there and play some football, you know what? Cool. Maybe I'll consider a discount purchase, because it was on sale at the time. I got through like 3 plays and I was just like, yeah, this is not my game. NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, any kind of game that just really, really simplifies it into an arcade style experience, is sorely missing. And because so many of these franchises have such a vice grip on the sport itself, rather than just their franchise in that sport, that it makes it really difficult for other people to come in and try and make a game without the legal nightmares that will inevitably pursue when you have so much as a sports team with passing colors. And I mean, unless you're doing like, cotton candy, like neon colors, you're going to look like some team. And now they have those new Nike colors that are basically just crazy colorful. So it's like, you can't win. It just feels like there's no hope.
So shout out Nintendo, make a Mario football game and crush it.
Seriously.
Like simple buttons, have every team be like Mario's team, Luigi's team, and then and it's just like full of some other like stock characters or whatever, and make passing A and B handing off to the running back, and you have like 6 or 8 plays you can run, and it just keeps it simple. And I bet you people will instantly gravitate towards that. Plus, if it's an IP like Mario, how awesome would that be? I mean, everything. I remember playing Mario
Oh, yeah.
Golf, and Mario Golf was awesome. Mario Tennis was awesome. I mean, so, there's so many ways to, or make a knockoff, make an NLF game and make them all no names, like the old
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr. baseball game. Like, make a Tom Brady game. Like, I don't know, just figure out a way to make an arcade style football game that's approachable. Now, I'm going to wait and see if Madden can kind of dial it back here, but again, in reference to our source article, I'm not optimistic that when they mean polished version, I think they're still gearing that towards their dedicated core base, not towards the casual gamer. So there shouldn't be any changes on our end to say, hey, this is more approachable than the last 5 to 8 years.
Yeah, because
Madden
they should have
games.
been approachable all along. And you're right, Nick. You made a good point, and Brad, about just the amount of licenses that they have to have and maintain, for these games. I think back when Don Traeger was doing the QTB Legends series with us, and if you haven't checked that out on our YouTube channel, be sure and go and watch it, where we interview Nick and Brad interview Don Traeger, the co-creator of EA Sports. And back in the day when these games were first emerging, right, licensing wasn't really a thing you had to worry about. That's why we had a Jordan versus Bird game. And a lot of these like generic sports games that came out. And it wasn't until, late down the road, I remember when they basically pulled NFL Blitz, and they were like, we can't do NFL Blitz anymore because Madden now owns the rights to the NFL. And that is where gaming can suffer. I look at the competition between NBA 2K and NBA Live, that was going on for a few years there. It makes games better. Competition makes games better. It makes enterprise better, right? Like if you don't have anybody to compete against or no one to be better than, then you suffer and you phone it in. And that's what we've been getting for the past several years with Madden, right?
When you say you suffer, the gaming industry suffers, and the developers can say, well, take it or leave it. It's my way or the highway, right? There's no other alternative. And it creates this dynamic where you're now getting these articles that say developers are promising a more polished version based off of feedback. You're creating this culture of like systemic, like I don't want to say hatred, but systemic, just like pessimism against games that come out year in, year out, right? I mean, and we've talked about this with Call of Duty. At what point do we say, hey, let's kind of pause this freight train because we don't know where the track's going, right? And maybe let's take a break and maybe look about where we need to go and maybe get back on the right track. And we'll see what Madden 23 brings to the table, but empty promises continue
it's so
to
simple. Just
ring in my
call
mind.
it Madden 23 and 24 if you have to. And just make it so that you're going to support that platform for 2 years, so that people know that when they make that purchase, that now the development cycle is 2 years, right? And you can add on that new 24 roster, and people will feel like they don't have to roll the dice on what the new game is going to be like, along with the roster that comes with it. So we will see, but I mean, the industry is still trending that way. It just seems like EA and Call of Duty to some extent is still holding out to try and keep the annual release intact. I just don't think it's sustainable, but I guess time will tell how the industry reacts. Well, as always, thanks to Pierce Unlimited for making this podcast possible, for marketing media that works and bespoke design to power your business. Visit PierceUnlimited.com. Stop on by. Pierce Unlimited helps us make this podcast. They can help you make a podcast, or whatever kind of marketing media, content, advertising, you name it, consultations. What don't they do is the better question. So stop on by. Again, PierceUnlimited.com. Yeah.